kanina, nakipagdebate siya kay Kaado para makita natin kung sino sa kanila ang nagsasabi ng totoo at kung sino sa kanila ang may talagang sinasabi na based on facts.
Opo.
Pero ang problema, off nila si Kaado, kawawa naman yung medyo matanda na si Kaado, kawawa naman na para bang disrespected yung tao when in fact, he went there out in good faith.
Kaado, because Kaado has a more in-depth knowledge of what the real situation is on the disputed areas sa South China Sea. Kaya nga, nung nag-explain na si Kaado kanina, ay parang they were intimidated into submission, kaya kinut off na nila. Otherwise, mapapahiya talaga sila.
Dyan sa TRICOM hearing, especially dun sa kasi ako naman talaga at saka si Kaado, uneven SAS I think was mentioned the last time. So kaya kami na-invite ng TRICOM. Ngunit si Kaado ang nakarating at ako naman nagbigay ng excuse letter out of respect for the institution kasi it's the House of Representatives. Kahit papano nire-respeto ko ang ating institution, ang House of Representatives bilang isang quote-unquote democratic institution. So kanina pinapanood, binigyan ako ng footage na yun nga, nagpapaliwanag si Kaado tungkol dun. Kasi ang post ni Kaado, yun ang ginawang parang showcasing ni Tariela. Na sinasabi niya na parang yan ang proof na si Kaado ay halimbawa ang tingin, ang inano nga nila na medyo hindi ko rin nagustuhan na para bang the person went there, you invited him, he went there out of good faith. Nabibigyan niyo siya ng platform to speak. And at the same time, siguro naman bilang isang institusyon na supposedly democratic, hindi naman siguro dapat nag-ad hominem pa na sometimes he was addressed as the Chinese because that is not right also as far as Kaado is concerned. So medyo off ako doon. So yun nga, tinatanong nga siya kasi kung bakit daw niya, nilabas nga ni Tariela ang post niya sa Facebook na sinasabi niya na it was stupid law or rather stupid for ganun ata ang kanyang framing ni Kaado na to sign the Maritime Zones Act. Kasi for Kaado, it was a critical comment. Maybe the word stupid is a little bit more provocative, but I think it was not really out of respect. But I think the way I analyze it, he was trying to put the message across na bakit nyo pinush ito kasi may mga legalities dito at may mga complications sa batas na pinush at naging batas na ngayon natin sa Pilipinas. Kaya nga ako, katapos ng first day ng conference, naglagay ako ng rejoinder. At I posted it in my social media account, especially in Facebook, with that video. Kasi first and foremost, ang gusto naman talagang gawin ni Kaado, i-explain ng mabuti kung bakit niya sinabing stupid at ano yung basihan ng pagsasabi niya ng stupid, which I think, kung sana pinayagan nilang makapag-explain si Kaado kasi baka naman yun ang magkaroon tayo ng enlightenment na may mga bagay tayong ginagawa na probably hindi siya ganun. In the long run, we will be at the disadvantage kasi precisely may mga complications siya. Like for example, ang sinasabi nilang Maritime Zones Act of the Philippines na actually ito yung bagong batas na naipasa at ang ano dito is Republic Act number 11934. Ay yung post ko sa Facebook, tinitignan ko right now. It was signed into law in August 2023. Tapos, ano yung purpose niya? To codify and declare the country maritime zones in accordance with the international law. However, according to Kaado, which I know as well, kasi pinag-uusapan namin yan, we belong to the same think tank, na sinasabi nga niya, paragraph 2 of the act, which refers to the West Philippine Sea, reveals a fundamental strategic and legal miscalculation. Kasi nga, may problema doon sa term na WPS. Kasi ang WPS, to be frank, is not internationally recognized. It is, to a certain degree, ginagamit natin sa Pilipinas because there is a domestic legislation. At yun ang tinatawag natin Executive Order number 29 na pinirmahan at nilabas ni Aquino III. Nung time na yun, kasi may standoff tayo and we filed a complaint in the tribunal. Pero kung ang WPS may backing siya na executive order, domestically, yes, may legally speaking, technically speaking, yes, it may be applicable to the context of the Philippines within the jurisdiction of the Philippines. But when you talk about international community, when you talk about international law, when you talk about recognition even among claimant states, even in the United Nations, even in tribunals, it is not recognized internationally. So yun yung punto niya na may contradiction, medyo may complication yung batas kasi legally speaking, when you put it in the international level, hindi siya malakas. Wala siyang foundation wala siyang anchor. Domestically, yes, it's good to say na yeah, mayroon tayong WPS, mayroon tayong batas, but the most important kasi when you talk about the South China Sea, kasi ang South China Sea is not a domestic issue. It is a regional issue. You deal with other countries in the region, including China. So dapat ang tingin ko kasi ang sinasabi niya, you have to come up with this kind of laws or whatsoever na may value siya sa international na mga negotiations. Kasi what would you do with something domestic? When you go out of your country, you negotiate your claim, pero hindi mo naman magamit kasi no one recognize it. Yun yung problema doon. Yun ang point ni I think that's how I perceive the point of Kaado na sinasabi niya, ay sandali lang. Pero mayroon pa siyang sinabing isa na ang paragraph 2, ang sinasabi din niya, which is very, very important, na hindi na-generate ang territorial sea by having this kind of, tawag nito, how do you call that? Itong, tawag nito?
Maritime law.
Maritime law. Hindi ganon. Kasi, ang territorial sea mo, it's not as if like pag nag-come up ka ng law, magkakaroon kaya ng territorial sea or sovereignty over certain areas. Hindi ganon. May proseso dyan and usually it involves the international community and the international level. Which I think ang ko lang sa ating mga kababayan kasi medyo mahaba yung explanation dyan. I posted my rejoinder in my Facebook account. So you can read it and slowly and understand it slowly for everyone to understand na sandali lang. Hindi ganito kadali ito. At wag natin siyang, wag tulad ni Tarela na para bang feeling niya, alam niya, wala naman siyang alam. Kasi kung alam niya, edi sana nakipagdebate siya kay Kaado para makita natin kung sino sa kanila ang nagsasabi ng totoo at kung sino sa kanila ang may talagang sinasabi na based on facts.
Opo.
Pero ang problema, off nila si Kaado, kawawa naman yung medyo matanda na si Kaado, kawawa naman na para bang disrespected yung tao when in fact, he went there out in good faith. Alam ko kasi minessage niya ako kaninang umaga, sabi niya sa akin, Ana, pinapatawag tayo ng TRICOM. Sabi ko, Kaado, wala ho ako sa Pinas ngayon paano ba ho ba yan? Mag-attend po kayo, sabi ko nga sa kanya, mag-attend po kayo, it's good opportunity to talk about these things in public na para ma-educate din natin ang ating mga kababayan. So mas ganon ang usapan namin kaninang umaga.
Opo, bago lang natin papasukin si EB, sundutan ko lang, follow-up question. Dahil kagaya doon sa pag-umpisa, doon sa batas patungkol doon sa West Philippine Sea, di ba? Yung may batas din yan during Aquino administration. Ang laging naririnig natin na kailangan muna natin, tayo dito sa bansa, kilalanin muna natin na ganito yung ating stand para kilalanin tayo ng mundo. Kasi paano tayo kikilalanin ng mundo kung hindi natin kinikilala? Yung ganun na mga rason po, Prof.
Yes, I understand that reasoning, but sometimes it depends on the issue that you're talking about. It depende yan sa issue. Kung ang issue na yun, ikaw lang talaga, sa'yo lang, Pilipinas lang ang may concern or or bilateral lang yan. Pero with a South China Sea issue, it's a different ball game. There are regional countries involved, and also it involves many other things like territoriality, sovereignty, economic EEZ or exclusive economic rights, which is basically anchored on sovereign rights. You have also the question of strategic interest that is going on and playing the geopolitical strategic interest that's playing in the region. So there's a lot. It's too much of complications. So hindi pwede na just because gusto mo makilala yung yung gusto mo at yung stand mo, gagawa ka na ng mga bagay na in the long run, magiging disadvantage sa'yo actually. And sometimes it complicates matters on the existing regional or multilateral negotiation that is going on in the region at the moment. Like for example, mayroon tayong nini-negotiate ngayon na ASEAN Code of Conduct. It's what China ASEAN Code of Conduct. This is a multilateral kind of negotiation. It involves ASEAN, the 10 countries, and China. So pinag-uusapan niya. No, this Maritime Zones Act and even the Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act, actually, to be frank with you, it may complicate more the negotiation. So para ang nangyayari, because the Code of Conduct is supposedly, ang spirit niya is cooperation, mag-cooperate, wag mag-away, pag-usapan nating mabuti paano ba natin maiiwasan ang gitgitan dyan sa South China, ma-de-escalate ang tension, ma-maintain ang peace and stability. But if you put the Maritime Zones Act and even the Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act in the picture of the negotiation, magkakaroon ka ng problema. Kasi magkakaroon yan ng gulo. Kasi bakit? First and foremost, when you talk about the Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act, isa sa mga provision niya is not even consistent with UNCLOS, like the passage, innocent passage, which in UNCLOS, any country can pass in the international water, even if it's your EEZ, kasi EEZ is their international water. So, pero pag inimpose ng Pilipinas ang Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act, magkakaproblema ka, mag-react ang ibang countries sa region and even major power from outside would react kasi that's a domestic law. But, the issue is not domestic, it's regional and international. So, yun ang sinasabi ko. There are things that we really have to think before we do things. It's supposed to be a rational way of making laws and a rational way of trying to, present our claim na hindi tayo dihado or hindi rin tayo mag-create ng gulo in the long run. Kasi yun eh. Ang problema, masyadong emotional din ang Pilipino or even ito sila kasi ang nangyayari, it's not anymore about the issue, it's not anymore about kung saan tayo puposisyon. It's more about anti-China. No. The issue is not about China. The issue is how we're gonna fight our claim in the regional and the international arena. So we need to think carefully our steps. Yun lang nainis pa ako kanina. Ang tawag nila kay Kaado, Chinese. No, it's not like that. Yun ang problema natin eh. Kasi parang lahat na lang ng tao na nagsasalita at trying to correct the misconception about this issue, which is very complicated and highly politically charged. Tiniterm na nilang pro-China, tulad ni Kaado kanina. Hindi dapat ganon. Kasi to be frank with you, in the battlefield, in the international level, in the regional level, even that issue in the South China Sea, talo ang Pilipinas kung ganito tayo mag-isip. Kung gusto nating manalo, we need to think carefully. We need to think out of the box and at the same time, huwag tayong padalos-dalos at huwag maging emotional. Gamitin ang utak at maging wais tayo. Tulad ng ibang countries in ASEAN like Malaysia, Vietnam, and especially Vietnam. Vietnam is really good. It's very strategic when it moves. Opo. Actually, I admire them a lot.
Opo. Pero may nakumbinsi tayo, ma'am. Si Google, may West Philippines na. Baka makumbinsi din natin yung iba. Si partner MJ, may karagdagang tanong at pag-intro kay Ibi.
Papasukin muna natin.
Maya, Admar.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Ko lang ha, Google Maps. In Google Maps, that doesn't mean na nandun ang WPs. Nakakaano naman yung Google Maps. Minsan nandoon, minsan wala. Hindi rin consistent. Ang tanong ko ganito, kasimple lang. Would it mean na umappear ang WPS na word or yung halimbawa words, West Philippines in Google Map, would that tantamount to a recognition by the global community? Would it tantamount to recognition by the United Nations system? Would it be tantamount by recognition by the claimant state like China, Malaysia, Brunei, and Vietnam? Would it make it that way? Is it the same? Of course not. Yun yung sinasabi ko. Take note. Go out China Sea in their geopolitical competition with China. So, Google Map, saan ba yan? Di ba Western ano yan? The United States atang may-ari niyan. And even other Western maps. But do you think we will get some kind of international recognition just because it appears in Google Map? Of course not. Huwag nating lokohin ang ating mga sarili. Let's be pragmatic and see reality for what it is and do something na concrete para manalo tayo kung tayo man ay nagkikipag-gitgitan dyan sa claim natin sa South China Sea. Ganun yan eh. Parang ano ba to? Parang ang Pilipino kasi ganito, nag-appear sa Google Map, yay, recognize na kami. Oh my God. Parang hello, okay ka lang. reaction ko parang, my God, ganito na ba tayo kababaw at madaling anong tawag, gullible. That's being gullible. So parang feeling ko, oh, Jesus, my goodness, kaloka naman. Kasi tinanong din ako sa international media actually yesterday. I had an interview. Tinanong din ako, nasa Google Map ng WPS, do you think it's already an international recognition? Tapos nakangiti sa akin na para bang tinutuya ako na parang, Ana, baka mamaya magkamali ka sa sagot. Sabi ko, ito talagang nag-interview sa akin. Akala din niya, ignorante ako. You know? So this is how it is.
Opo, Prof, dahan din, no, napadalhan po na imbitasyon sa TRICOM. Abay, gagawin ko na lang ngayon ang katanungan. So the chair now recognizes Mr. E.B. Hugalbot of Cebu City. Mr. Hugalbot, naniniwala ba kayo na pag-aari ng Pilipinas, yung mga water features na pinagtatayuan ngayon ng China, ng mga gusali, ng mga airstrip, anong masasabi nyo doon?
Mr. Chair, no?
You better
Probably.
tell your answer in an honest way or I will contempt you right now, Mr. Hugalbot.
Oh my God.
You were probably quoting the chair kanina, no? When he propounded that question to Kaado Paglinawan. I was actually monitoring the entire hearing and I was also invited twice. I was served a subpoena personally by the personnel of the PNP here in my town, in Liloan in Cebu. And I actually sent them also a reply na I'm based in Cebu, so if they can pay for my airfare, I will gladly be of help to them to attend, no? Pero hanggang ngayon walang reply eh. Lalo-lalo na ngayon this week, 22,000 yung round trip ticket between Manila and Cebu, no? So hindi talaga ako I wasn't able to make it at hindi rin ako nila ni-reply. But going back to your question nga, no, MJ, no? Talagang yung kanina, gusto talaga nilang ipagmukha sa mga Pilipino na ang mga intellectual, no? Public intellectual, katulad ni na Professor Ana at in this instance nga kanina, si Kaado Paglinawan, ay towing the China propaganda. And in fact, there were times that they were insinuating that these people are being paid, no, by China, and that they are paid propagandists. No, I myself as well, no, and even Prof. Ana has been a victim of that accusation, no, and you know, maligning our person. Pero hindi talaga yan umubra kanina kay Kaado because Kaado has a more in-depth knowledge of what the real situation is on the disputed areas sa South China Sea. At kaya nga, nung nag-explain na si Kaado kanina, ay parang they were intimidated into submission, kaya kinut off na nila. Otherwise, mapapahiya talaga sila. And because I think Kaado was supposed to say na walang may-ari dyan, kaya nga disputed eh. wala pang desisyon sino talaga ang may-ari. Ang Pilipinas ba? O ang China ba? Or in fact, even the other claimant countries, precisely because hindi nga ito na mention ni Kaado, no, na yung arbitral ruling na lagi nilang binabalandra, no, if you look at the arbitral ruling, ano ba yung root word niyan? Arbitration, no? Kung it's akin to a mediation doon sa barangay ninyo, amicable settlement. Ang amicable settlement, ang arbitration, takes two to tango. Pag wala yung isang party, then kayo lang ang nandun, which is actually what happened doon sa arbitral ruling. Hindi nag-participate ang China, tayo pa nga ang nagbayad ng 1 billion pesos ata yun doon sa side ng China, at hindi yan na-recognize ng China. And yun na nga, no? Kasi dalawa ang involved na party in any conflict, no? And in any conflict, dalawa or more than two parties are involved. You have to put yourself in the point of view, on the shoes of the other party. In this case, in China's point of view, sa kanila yan eh. In the Philippine point of view, atin din yan. But absent an absolute ruling kung sino talagang may-ari niyan, no? No one can actually claim na sa amin yan, no? Hindi rin ang China, hindi rin ang Pilipinas. Which brings us to what Prof. Ana and people like me and even Sas and what I've been saying all along. In any dispute, in any conflict, you first find a common ground somewhere that you can agree with. And that is precisely what Prof. Ana said kanina, yung code of conduct doon sa South China Sea, yung spirit of cooperation. Ang kasi itong dalawang mga legislation na ito, I haven't read the entire piece of legislation. It comes into conflict again with international law. It tried to codify UNCLOS into our domestic law. And the spirit of UNCLOS actually is for an amicable settlement between parties with overlapping claim, no? So talagang hindi nila gusto siguro na malaman at marinig ng buong sambayanan and put into record. Kasi it's a committee hearing in aid of legislation, no? Kaya pinipigilan nila si Kaado because whatever Kaado would have said there, quotings and citing sources will go into records and can be retrieved in future hearings, can be used as references in future legislation, any amendments of such legislation, as a matter of fact. So kaya siguro na ano sila doon, no? And again, agreeing with what Professor Ana said kanina nga, itong si Tariela kasi, all he really wants to do is to instigate, no, the Filipino population into believing that the Chinese are out there to invade and occupy our territory. Yan naman talaga ang narrative nila, no? And even the recent Shangri-La dialogues, no? Mas grabe yun. Yung US Defense Secretary na si Pete Hegseth was almost challenging China into a shooting war na. Yung rhetoric niya was so alarming, no? If I may, MJ.
Hindi. Di pwede yan. Dahil para sa amin, kayo po'y makapili. Mga pro-China, mga taksil sa bayan. O paano naman yung ganoong naratibo,
grabe, no?
Sir EB, Ma'am Ana, si Sir EB muna. Sir.
Yun na nga eh.
Mga taksil.
Anything na contradictory to their narrative or anyone who puts forward an argument that is against, no, a certain narrative, will be labeled, no, as either pro this or anti this, no, or paid somewhat by someone. It comes with the hazards of the job. I think I myself have been named in Twitter as a Russia-trained Chinese paid propagandist, no. So
Oo nga, di ba? Tayong dalawa nga yun ata.
Kaming dalawa nga ni Prof. Ana yun, no? But again, kidding aside, no, mga kababayan, no, MJ at Admar, wala talaga silang, yun na nga, no, mga ad hominem attacks na lang kanina, tinatawag nila si Kaado na Chinaman. Ito ha, I think Kaado, when he had sufficient time, siguro nasupalpal pa rin. Kasi sinasabi ni I don't know if it was Congressman Abante, who asked him, are you a lawyer? Insinuating na Kaado is not the right person to interpret or put forward some opinions kasi hindi siya abogado. Kung ako ang nandun, siguro sasagutin ko yun. Yes, I am not a lawyer, just like many of the congressmen and many of the senators who craft laws. They are not lawyers, but that doesn't prevent them from crafting legislation or making laws. So, applying the same logic, why would it prevent a person like Kaado or Prof. Ana or me or Sas or whoever it is na interprets the same academic discussion in contradiction to their stance? MJ.
Prof. Ana.
Yeah, ano ganun kasi parang ang tingin ko kasi wala silang solid argument to dispute yung mga sinasabi namin. Yan, kami na EB, kami na SAS, even si Kaado. Actually, Kaado really has an in-deep knowledge about this issue. I'm not kidding. I know him very well. So, ang inaano ko dyan is wala na silang, di nila kayang i-dispute in a way na, makikipagdebate ka, you will lay down facts as against facts na sinasabi namin, or you can cite you can cite the PCA ruling, you can cite on-clause provisions, and you can explain it. Hindi nila kaya eh. So they resorted to makapili ka Chinaman or something na ad hominem to eh. As congressmen, you resorted to that? So how do you look like to the public? So ibig sabihin, either hindi nila naiintindihan yung issue, hindi nila naiintindihan ng mga sinasabi ni Kaado, at ayaw nilang mag-cite si Kaado ng mga provision and explain niya kasi hindi nila naiintindihan, or they just really don't want to put it on record or marinig ng publiko, kasi kapag narinig ng publiko, lalo lang malalagay sila sa alanganin. So yun yung, kaya alam mo yung mga tipong makapili ka na para bang sandali muna, that's labeling. Paano mo na naisip na makapili siya just because he has his own opinion or perspective about something which is not the same with yours? That does not make Kaado makapili. So yun yung tingin ko eh. They resorted to this ad hominems and name calling kasi wala na silang masabi at hindi rin nila siguro naiintindihan ng malalim yung mga sasabihin at pinagsasabi ni Kaado dun sa hearing. Kasi, come on, kung si Abante nga, tignan natin, ilagay mo si Kaado at si Kaaba, ito na lang, para lang ilagay mo si Kaado at saka si Abante, even isama mo pa si Dan Fernandez, sama mo pa si Barbers in a national TV. Tapos, debatihin natin yung issue ng South China Sea, WPS, PCA ruling, on-clause, lahat ng treaty. Ilagay mo sila doon, pagdebatihin mo, let the whole Philippines watch and the international level watch that debate. I will bank on Kaado, to be frank with you. Kasi kilala ko siya eh. Alam ko ang alam niya eh. Tapos, on the other hand, kaya mas yun dapat ang gawin natin para tignan natin sino nga ba ang nagsasabi ng totoo at saan nga ba tayo puposisyon. Kasi mas maganda yan kasi we will hear their arguments, kung solid yan or factual yan, and we will hear arguments coming from the likes of Kaado, and that would be good for any kind of legislation na may kinalaman sa issue na yan. Kasi doon mahihimay mo talaga. But why is it that they're not doing it? Instead, they're trying to reprimand a person who's trying to explain earlier. So yun yung sinasabi ko. O ilagay mo na rin ng si SAS. Ako rin, sige, mag-participate. Si EB mag-participate dyan sa grand debate. Why not, di ba? This is good for the public. This is good for the Filipino people. Why not do it something like that rather than having a TRICOM na controlled nila controlled nila eh. Pag hindi ka nila pinagsalita, hindi ka makapagsalita, tapos mamaya pag hindi nila nagustuhan, makontempt ka pa. It's just so good na I think that was the last hearing, I think, for TRICOM, kasi nga magsasara na ang 19th Congress at papasok na ang 20th Congress. So in a way, hindi na nila siguro makontempt si Kaado. Pero feeling ko, kung may oras pa, delikado si Kaado. Baka si Kaado na-detain sa sa HOR. Pero ready yan si Kaado. Ready siya sa mga ganyan. Yeah.
Opo. Nais ko lang ipunto din na Ma'am Ana and si EB yung theory, no? Yung rally round the flag effect, no? Yung concept na ito na lumilikha ng isang external issue to unite the people, kasi pag external, nagkakaisa ang mga mga mamamayan ng isang bansa rallying behind at winawaksi yung mga internal disputes at mga internal na mga hindi pagkakaunawahan sa isang nasyon kagaya po ng sa Pilipinas. For a common enemy which is external. Ito ba ay nakikita ninyo ngayon sa mga panahon para malihis yung mga issue natin, mga problema natin sa krisis, tumataas na crime rate, yung patuloy na paghihirap ng mga Pilipino, pagmahal ng mga bilihin, so on and so forth. Prof. Ana.
Sa akin kasi, ang tingin ko kasi sa South China Sea talaga, it's like at diversionary issue or ginagamit din nilang diversionary tactic para ang pag-iisip at atensyon ng mga Pilipino ay imbis na doon sa domestic na mga nangyayari sa Pilipinas na kailangan tugunan at bigyan ng pansin ng gobyerno, ng House of Representatives, ng Senado at yung mga politika, yung gitgitan sa politika, imbis na nandun yung atensyon ng mga Pilipino, sinishift nila to South China Sea issue, which is an external and a regional issue. And at the same time, I think they're banking on the fact na kapag pinag-usapan ito, magkakaroon ng tinatawag mong tataas probably ang trust rating ni Romualdez, tataas ang trust rating ni Tarela, at tataas ang trust rating ni Presidente. I don't think so. Because to be honest, ang mga Pilipino right now, para sa kanila, parang, again, South China Sea again. Ganun na ang reaction nila. Again, South China Sea again. Kasi bakit? Kasi nai-educate na rin ang mga Pilipino. Sa akin, ang tingin ko, diversionary ang issue na ito. Kasi kung titignan mo, imagine, sa isang hearing, ilan ang gagastusin mo dyan? Kasi may gastos yan Pag nagpa-hearing ka, malaki ang ginagastos din. Ang gastos dyan sa hearing, bawat hearing is siguro aabot yan ng ₱1,000,000 or something to that effect. So saan yung kinukuha? Taxpayers' money yan. So why would you devote a lot of money to a hearing na paulit-ulit lang? Imagine mo, ang TRICOM hearing na yan, ang pinag-uusapan dyan is fake news. Napunta na kung saan-saan, napunta Pogo, fake news, kung saan-saan na napunta. Tapos in aid of the legislation, ano ang ililegislate mo? Do we need legislation on South China Sea issue? Really? I think the South China Sea issue is more of diplomacy. Ibato mo yan sa Department of Foreign Affairs. Let them handle the issue kasi trabaho nila yan. Hindi trabaho ng Kongreso ang mag-adjudicate or mag-usap-usap tungkol sa isang napaka-sensitive na regional issue. Trabaho yan ng mga diplomat. Let the Department of Foreign Affairs handle it and let the President do something about it because siya ang author ng foreign policy ng Pilipinas. Bakit ang nasa Kongreso? In the very first, kasi ang gulo-gulo ng ng agenda nila. Fake news, napunta kung saan-saan, tapos lahat na lang singit ng singit, kahit anong issue sinisingit in the guise of fake news. My goodness. Pati nga ngayon ang opinion, ang perspective, fake news na rin ang Sabi ko, ano ba to? Ang gulo-gulo naman. So, yun. At saka, kung titignan mo ang Pilipinas, ang daming issues. Ang paglobo ng utang ng debt natin, sovereign debt natin, tumaas na naman kasi utang tayo ng utang. Tapos, ano pa ba? Foreign direct investment, kulang. Wala, bumababa. Tapos mahal pa rin ang mga bilihin ng may nilabas ngayon na sinasabing bumaba daw ang inflation. Hindi ko alam kung totoo yan really in real life situation. Kasi bilang isang Pilipino, wala ako sa bansa right now, but syempre may mga kaibigan ako. Tinatanong ko din yung mga kaibigan ko, mga kapatid ko, ano na ba ang presyo ng mga bilihin dyan? Kaya pa ba natin sa sweldo natin? Kasi tumataas ang bilihin, hindi tumataas ang sweldo ng ganun kadali. Tumaas man ang sweldo, 100, 200, 1,000 lang per taas. Hindi yan tumataas ng sobra-sobra. So, alam ko kung ano nangyayari sa Pilipinas. Alam ko kung gaano kahirap ang buhay sa Pilipinas. So, bakit hindi ito ang bigyan nila dapat ng pansin when they do hearings? Kasi may oversight function ang Congress. Implementation, like for example, poverty alleviation. Ano bang nangyayari dyan? Yung kanilang mga pinagdidistribute na mga ayuda-ayuda, may nangyayari ba talaga dyan? Oversight function nila yan. Dapat tinitignan nila kung may impact ba yan o wala. May nare-resolve ba sila when you talk about poverty o wala. Dito sila sa mga issue na actually hindi yan domestic Ang kailangan ng Pilipinas is pagtuunan mo ang domestic problem natin. Pati na yung politika na pagkagulo-gulo na hindi ko maintindihan kung saan tayo mapupunta dahil sa gulo rin ng politika natin, lalo na itong mga tulad ng impeachment. Hindi, alam mo yun, many pieces are moving at the moment with the upcoming impeachment trial. Mayroong nagsasabi na wag na, mayroong nagsasabing tuloy, may mga tao, ang House of Representatives ko-complain. So, magulo din So, ito yung mga issues na dapat ang presidente magkaroon ng final, or decisive dapat siya. Pag sinabi niyang wala ng impeachment, di sabihan niya yung mga tao niya, wala ng impeachment, period. Ganon, hindi yung ang daming voices, ang gulo-gulo. Hindi ko rin alam, pero feeling ko smoke screen lang ito eh. But probably the impeachment would proceed eh. I mean, impeachment trial will proceed. So yun yung tingin ko.